You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Educating the customer is a key component of the F&I department, but training and processes is in this area changed drastically. Today, we're hearing and learning, I should say, just how much things really have changed and what's impacting F&I today. Joining us now is Cory Collins, who's a speaker and national F&I trainer for automotive reassurance concepts. Cory, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Sure. So F&I, as I said in the opening, it has changed drastically. Consumers' trends and habits in this area have also changed. I guess that's probably what's driven the change by the dealer. So talk to us about some of the things that jump out at you over the course of the last 3 or 4 years with regard to some of the noticeable changes in F&I.
So I think the biggest change that I see is, for a long time, F&I departments or F&I managers looked at the customer when they came in, and they just, went for their best shot. It was all about how it affected the payment. Well, now we're in a time where the consumer, it's not as much about the payment and the budget as it is about the information and the awareness to what the service, the product provides.
Yeah.
We're at a time now where we've changed from, it's not an extended service contract. You can buy an extended service contract on a toaster at Walmart, right? It's okay, you've got an extended service contract, but why do I need it? And what does it do? And how does it benefit me as a customer? And that's why, training is so important right now. It's just, the difference is night and day from what it was to what it is.
Sure. Weren't we hoping back, 20 years ago or so, that the F&I menu would also help bring that out? So somebody would go through the different levels of a typical menu, and then the consumer would say, yeah, well, let me go with this, explain this to me. It looks like this package might suit me best, but tell me what's in it. I think we were hoping, as in the industry, that's what would happen from that. The consumers would say, oh, tell me what's available in this most common package that you're recommending.
No, you're 100% right. And I don't understand for 2 seconds dealerships that don't operate with a menu today. To me, it just removes, an F&I manager picks what a customer will buy, or has a preconceived notion based on how they're going to pay for the vehicle. And you just can't do that anymore. You can't make the decision for what the customer will do, because without giving them the information, you're shorting yourself out of gross profit opportunities. So to me, a menu is the cornerstone product of a successful F&I department, and then learning how to actually present it the right way, instead of, hey, I've got your paperwork almost finished up. Let me go over our menu with you that shows you all the different things we sell in the F&I office. It's a horrible transition versus, hey, one of the things that we're very proud of in our dealership is when a customer buys a vehicle, we offer benefits in addition to just the vehicle. These are our benefits that we offer, and you have the right to enroll or not to enroll. But I think, like everybody else, you'll find out it's a no-brainer. And then they go through their menu, and it's a completely different experience. Right.
I agree. I don't know why a dealership would not go through the menu, unless, of course, the bank maybe conditioned the deal so much that if the customer wanted those things, you couldn't get them in the contract. But I don't think that's taking place, is it?
Well, it is on a case-by-case basis. Dealers that encounter a lot of special finance, they still need it. It's still a part of the process. And just explaining, hey, listen, unfortunately, the bank would not allow us to include our benefits. It's something you'll have to pay for out of pocket. But let me show you what that looks like. Or, using a service payment plan like PayLinks to offer an extended service contract at a 0% interest, 18-month option is not out of the realm of possibility, because you could tie this into your loan at 25% for 72 months, or let's take 18 months at 0%. And then when that's paid for, you still have it. You still have another 18 months worth of the availability to it.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good close. I like that. So what are the big challenges that face F&I offices today? What are the big issues?
So I'm gonna tell you, this might sound crazy, but I think the biggest issue that I see, and I go from the West Coast to the East Coast, and I service about 130 dealerships on a monthly basis.
Wow.
And of those stores, the biggest impact or the biggest change that I see is attitude.
Really?
You have to, an F&I manager sets the tone for the day in a dealership. And a lot of dealerships don't really realize it, but when a salesperson comes to the door at 8 a.m. and the computer's not on and the coffee's still hot, and you're just sit down in your chair and they want to know, hey, how did we get the deal approved from last night? An F&I manager has two choices in that moment. You can either snap and send them packing,
That's
Or-
right.
or-
Get
and
out of
you-
my office. I'll tell you when it's approved.
Right, or you take that opportunity to grab the day by the horns and really encourage that person to have a seat. Let's talk about it. Computer's firing up, because it sets the tone for the entire day.
Yeah.
And the stores that understand that and have grasped the team and how important the culture is are successful. And the F&I managers and the stores that haven't grasped that yet and don't understand it are still fighting to get where they want to be.
That's right.
The difference is night and day, because the F&I department impacts every department in the store, not just the customers. Because that salesperson, they bounce out of there, he's going to go right out to the huddle group of salespeople and tell everybody what a monster they are in the finance department. That's going to bleed to the sales desk. Then, hey, you get a page from service for the sales desk, and they ask, "How's your day going?" Well, apparently better than F&I. And then, it just spreads throughout the dealership like a wildfire.
That's right. That's right.
You know,
and it's always interesting to me that how fast an F&I manager forgets how long they were a salesperson on the showroom floor, asking those very same questions before they were given the opportunity to be an F&I manager, right?
You're 100% correct. And, it's easy to forget, but man, it's just so important that you don't, because like I said, you breathe the wind and the sails of the entire department. And if you're not taking advantage of that, your store's paying the price.
That's right. That's right. And conversely, if it's the same F&I manager with that rotten attitude, he's going to have the same rotten attitude when he tries to sell that paper to the bank later that day. When they say, "Hey, we can't buy this one or that one," you got to get back in there and try to sell it, right?
100%. Yeah, I tell the F&I managers that I train, when you pull in the dealership in the morning, when you walk through the showroom door, that's your NFL tunnel, right?
That's
Everything
right.
else has to stay outside. When I come in, I come to play. For the next 12 hours, 10 hours, whatever my shift is, I'm here to make an impact, not just do my job.
That's right.
'Cause that's the difference. It's either, that's my job mentality, or I'm part of this team and I want everybody to be successful mentality. And those are the difference makers.
That's right. That's right. Hey, switching gears here a little bit, we're seeing more states and dealers and OEMs wanting to sell EVs. What impact do you think that's going to have on the F&I department? Are there programs already out there that a dealer can offer specific to EVs and batteries?
Absolutely. Yeah, there are plenty of options out there, in the industry right now. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of stores and a lot of dealers are concerned about the customer buy-in from an EV type vehicle. And I got to tell you, a vehicle that you can't service, I'll deliver every one of them I get the opportunity to. You're driving literally a piece of technology. We're not talking about, I'm buying a Honda because it's a Honda and, it's got the best engine and transmission, or Toyota, or vice versa. You're literally driving a computer that's going to set in the rain. It's going to get wet. It's going to be exposed to 90-degree weather. It's like driving a smartphone.
Yeah.
It's completely different opportunity. So I think there shouldn't be as much fear as there should be. Just be excited about the opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Switching gears a little bit again, what impact do you think that high interest rates will have on F&I reserves and overall profits, if any?
Well, it does, for sure. As the rates have risen, we're seeing less and less reserve, which, is not necessarily a bad thing. And I say that because, a successful F&I department in any dealership, whether it's franchise or independent, they don't need to live on F&I reserve. They're just asking for chargebacks. If your F&I department is running more than 20 to 25% in reserve in your gross profit, they're just not doing it right. Mm-hmm. We want product sales. If we can get to that 75 or greater product sales, it makes up our revenue. That's just a difference maker to the bottom line, and it's a difference maker to the availability for customer retention.
Sure.
The more customers that are buying products, the more customers are going to return to the store. And reserve, you don't get that benefit. You're just waiting for somebody to refinance. Next year, I really believe if the rates drop, and everybody and their brother has their fingers crossed that takes place.
Yeah.
But if that happens and you're holding a lot of reserve right now, all you're going to do is have the biggest wave of chargebacks you've ever had in history.
That's right. People refinance.
Right. So you're borrowing what's going to cost you later if that's how you're operating. So I think smart dealers know, and smart finance directors and teams know that, right now you really have to be cautious of what's on the horizon.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let me ask you, since when COVID hit back 3 years ago, we saw a lot of the process and of the sales process completed online, and that included F&I in many cases. A consumer from their home could check out the value of their trade, they could get best price on the vehicle, but they could also get a lot of F&I information and really figure out with the dealership via their computer what the payment's going to be and what it's going to include with regard to F&I. Has that changed any? Are we doing more of the process online for F&I, or what does that stand today?
Well, I would say that that's cut back a lot from what it was. Because customers that took an at-home delivery just didn't get the same delivery experience. Especially in the new car side of things in the franchise world. If I'm buying a new vehicle, I want somebody to show me how all the buttons work and get me excited about what I just purchased. And,
right.
Even though they dealers did the best they could to make that a possibility.
Sure.
We're seeing customers return to the store for that reason. And I'll give my hats off to the automotive industry on the whole. From a retail side, we adapted and adjusted very quickly as a whole to making that consumer home delivery process work, and finding a way not to shortcut any part of the process. And that was tough. We operated on the fly to make that happen. And I think we did a great job. The deliveries were tougher for the finance department because you don't have the emotional availability to sit across the desk from a customer to really dive in. And so it became it became more important to lock down a time frame with the customer where they could give you 15 to 20 minutes so you could really make sure they knew what they were signing and why they were signing it. So, the lack of it or the cut down of it, I think, is a good thing both for the dealer and for the customer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And in terms of trends going into 2024, what are you telling your clients, your dealer clients, and your F&I directors that you're working with? What should they be looking for in 2024 for increased profitability in F&I?
I'm glad you asked me that, and I'm going to be just 100% honest with you. When it comes to that, it's training and development. Right now, if you're not training your people on a daily or weekly basis, you are getting behind the curve because and just speaking in the automotive industry as a whole, let's look at new car stores and independent stores. Front end gross profit is gone, right? So back end gross profit is the new front end gross profit.
Yeah.
So how do we nurture that and how do we develop it? Well, there's a right way and a wrong way to do everything. The right way to do it is to train your people and train your sales staff to operate as one and make sure that your salespeople and your F&I people are working so well together that a really solid turnover or transfer of trust takes place, and then making sure that your F&I manager really understands the ins and outs of the products that they offer.
Cory Collins, speaker and national F&I trainer for Automotive Reassurance Concepts. Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Very much appreciate it. Love to have you back to do a follow-up and also to ask you about 4 more of these questions that I've got in front of me, but that time won't allow. So thank you so much.
Hey, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.